Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see me clearly?
Okay. I can't hear you yet, but that's okay. It'll, when I make it live, it'll come up.
Testing, testing.
All right. There we are.
All right, can you hear me yet?
Now, I think you're muted. It might be your microphone isn't on. There, that looks like it fixed it.
All right, can you hear me?
Oh, nope.
Nope. Okay, let me just take this out. Can you hear me now?
No.
No? Okay, let me see here. More.
It's funny. Let's see. Nothing I got here.
Sharifa says she can hear me. Oh, you can't hear me now? Well, I can't hear nothing now either.
No.
Still nothing?
What's that? Let's see. Yeah, I don't have any other options.
I'll leave it to your mic. Okay. You still can't hear me?
No.
Okay. Babe, come here. Maybe I can get Jada. Oh. Jada. Come here. He said I can't, he can't hear me? Yeah, I took the microphone thing out.
Can you hear him?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
More settings, audio, automatic. Hello. It's working on my end. Many external unsupported on Facebook page. Time to say.
Okay. Oh, dude, that's my bad. No, you're fine. I just checked the feed. You're fine. It's that my speakers are coming through my headphones.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay. Well, these are the bugs to work out.
Right, exactly. Wow. Okay. I was like, okay, I thought maybe
cool.
it was all good.
Can you see the stream? Like, can you see me and you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
You can see exactly what's on what I'm displaying. Okay.
Right.
That's good. And then let me turn off my monitor over here. And I'm going to, I thought I changed your, CEO of
Financial.
Go ahead.
CEO of Financial Services Unlimited. A little closer here.
Okay. And in the recording, of course, right now, I'm fairly certain because it shows where the eyeballs are. So nobody's watching us right now. So for the recording, we'll edit out all of the beginning part.
Okay.
Right.
And I think my wife is on somewhere.
Is she on the?
She's not.
I think she might just be.
She said she is.
Oh,
can you see both
maybe
of us?
that's what it. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, okay, I get it. So it's how many people are in the. I can see where they are. So there's one person in the financial literacy page, and there were two, and now there's one. So good. That makes sense. Okay. So here's the cool thing about this platform. So we've got this logo up in the corner, the WealthCare logo.
Okay.
What would be cool is to do both logos for this show.
Yes.
And we'll also do an intro kind of package for the show. I didn't take the time to do that this week, but
that's fine.
But notice I can do the little banners. So FinLit Live, I gave it a quick name.
Oh, okay.
Financial, whatever. that type of thing. So this is basically the fun of doing this.
Right.
We'll have a lot of fun just playing around with what's possible on this.
Of course.
Without further ado, we can introduce ourselves and then go into the topic. So
Okay.
let me give you the floor first to introduce yourself, and I'm going to so go ahead and introduce yourself and I'll follow up.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. My name is Ali Leonard. I am CEO and president of Financial Services Unlimited. We've been in business for approximately 24 years in the financial arena, and very excited about being here.
Perfect. And I'm Dr. Michael A. Wright. As you can see on the screen there, I am the Chief Executive Coach for Maw Media Group. Basically, my firm is a soup to nuts firm helping people to create revenue streams from their ideas, but also that most important component of working through the trauma is what you might call it, or the misconceptions, miseducation that you've been taught about not only financial literacy, but about succeeding in life in general. So today we are coming together to launch an experience, a live experience, where weekly we get on and we support people in our areas of expertise to move forward in their financial processes, in their credit in particular is where Ali is gifted, and in their life in general, the wellness component, trauma and wellness component is what I'm bringing to the table. So we'll see how this goes and what interest and enjoyment we create from this. And as long as it does something for people and makes us happy, we'll continue to be a part of this. So
yes,
thanks to everybody who's tuning in, either in person, live, or later on. So we've got a few topics we're going to hit in our 3 segments is how I envision this to go each week, up to an hour, but probably more along the lines of 30, 35 minutes of actual engagement time. And then we maybe take some questions from people even throughout the process, and we'll see how that goes, whether the comments come through. So what's your wife's name again?
Sharifa.
So yes. Sharifa, if you're able and you're not stirring something at the moment, if you can test the comments and see if we just see them easily and automatically, or if that's something else we need to do. And feel free throughout. So we'll jump into our first topic, which is, we know it's tax time. And
yes.
and I'm actually really interested in hearing your perspective on this, because I know for a fact what most people are thinking about in tax time. This is their come up stage, right? This is their get back, because over the year it's been rough and no real extra money coming in from anywhere. So this, for most people, they planned their W-4s in order to have some money come back. And they might even know how that worked. But if you put 0 or 1, like most people do on your W-4, you're going to get back some money, or you're owed some money typically from the IRS during this time. So let's first get into my big question. What's the biggest mistakes in terms of credit repair and your credit score that people make during this time? If you had to boil it down to one big thing, Ali, what would you say is that first thing?
Well, there's several different things that's going to play a factor in this, but the biggest thing is, people get these $3,000, $7,000, $10,000, $12,000 refund checks, and then they don't put themselves in a position to benefit them. Right now, we are the number one consumers in this country. So that means we spend majority of the money that we make. So when we get this tax money, and I've seen it year after year after year, no matter what you tell them or anything like that, you have to be able to put yourself in the position to win. One of the first things that a person who has credit issues, has some financial, struggles going on, is to be able to invest into yourself first. If you need some help with your credit, then you need to find somebody that's has a reputation for getting you the results that you need. And the second step is, for whatever, if you got rent, if you got, mortgages, make some additional payments towards your rent or your mortgage. Get caught up on your credit card and your debt. But it's really hard for individuals to see that piece of it, like you stated before, this, they've worked all year, and struggle paycheck to paycheck. Now they got a lump sum of money. And I mean, I see people that buy cars every year. I see individuals going to the malls, buying all this name brand items, purses, Louis Vuittons, Gucci's, Jordans, 3, 4, 5 pair of them. And they get this money and in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? And they only have material things to show for it. Now they're back in the rat race all over again, doing it for another 11 months, and then come back and get the refund check. And they haven't really learned from the mistakes that they made year after year after year. And most of these cars that they buy, they don't finish paying for them, or they break down, and they adding all this, the sound systems and the rims and all this other stuff that goes on top of this vehicle that's not worth the money that they're really paying for it.
Yeah, we're really, that's to your point about us being the largest consumers that we really consume. I remember Obama said something about recognizing, it was during some stimulus, and he was talking about consumerism, and I was so kind of disappointed in that perspective, because the funny thing in economics is, yes, consumers are what makes the world go round,
right,
but you got to consume to, in the context of your ability to have a quality of life.
Right.
You can't just be on it because you have the money right now at tax time and you're going to fulfill all your fantasies now.
Yes.
Like you said, if you invest in that context and in that process, you actually can prepare for a better future.
Yes.
And the thing that I always come back to is the stress level. And what you said is really important, especially for those folks who are getting that 8,000, 12,000, because people look at that in my experience with clients, financial coaching clients, they look at the 12,000 as the saving grace.
Right.
But my switch in their perspective is to look at it as an opportunity to invest.
Yes. Yes.
And I should say there's that one side, which I think I'd like to get your feedback on, because some people look at pay up your bills, and I've seen it both ways. The saving grace kind of thing is what I'm talking about, where they say, let me pay all this money and pay my bills up for the year. And I pull them back from that. And what I know you're talking about isn't to get rid of all the money to pay your stuff ahead of time. No, it's to strategically use that money. Right. So, especially as you look at your credit and looking at the credit cards, what are some of the ways to strategically utilize, let's just call it 10,000, just for argument's sake, to make the math easy. What's some of the ways to kind of use that 10,000 to really support your best across the whole year? And specifically, I know for you, the consideration is your low credit is going to cost you more money. So
Oh,
how do you put in
yes.
how do you strategically position you so that you are building your credit and not just paying up your bills all, getting rid of all the money?
Right,
How do
right,
you do
right.
it strategically?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I don't suggest that an individual, if you get 10,000, just pay it all in bills. I mean, one of the things you want to focus on if you have a low credit score is there's 5 factors that come to play when it comes to how they calculate your credit scores. Um, Payment history is number one. It's 35% of your overall score. The second piece of that is 30% is your utilization rate, or your balance to limits. So the first thing I suggest individuals to do is get a copy of their credit report, or get a copy of their credit card statements, and compare their balances to their limits.
Mm.
So if I have $1,000 limit, but my balance is $900, even though you're paying on time, the credit system is actually punishing you for being over a certain percentage. So anytime you're at 75% of your limit or higher, the credit system does not give you points. It takes points away.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get the maximum for your credit card, it needs to be at 10% or less. Ideally, it used to be 30%, but the credit system changed that to where now, I mean, 30% will still give you, a good amount of points. But if you want the maximum, it's 10% or less. So,
right, yeah,
you don't have to pay all these credit cards off. You just need to, pick out the ones where the balances are over 75%, and at least get it under that, if possible. If you have a lower balance on a credit card, $500 limit compared to a $5,000 limit, then you don't want to put the whole $5,000 on one card. I want to pick and choose the cards that are closer to the 75% or higher, or the ones that has the lowest amount of limit and balance on it, so I can increase my credit scores. Because basically, bad credit costs you way more than what most people can imagine.
yeah,
I mean, as far as interest rates, the case by case scenario when it comes to me being able to apply for a auto loan, or a personal loan, or even get a mortgage, I got to have a certain credit score. And all of those items, when you're financing them, are based on your credit score. So the lower your credit score, the higher interest that you're going to be paying for this item. I mean, I have clients that's paying 26, 29% for a car. If they're fortunate to pay it off, which most of them are not, you could have bought 3 cars.
exactly.
If I'm financing a TV, I mean, same scenario. So I mean, you basically want to, get your credit report and see what you have out there. What's my limits? What's my balances? And be able to focus on those, because that's 30% of your overall credit score.
Perfect.
Yes.
And with that, one of my biggest things in that, your advice to pay down the bills or pay ahead on your bills, the stress piece is really important, like I said before. And for me, it's the reducing your stress, because when you reduce your stress, you make less of those, spur of the moment purchases, or those purchases that are stress related or stress motivated.
Right.
Sometimes it's not the car, it's just that you went out and bought steak, whereas the rest of the year you were buying Spam, or you were buying ground beef, you were buying ground turkey. But I got my check now I'm getting steaks. And
yes.
and I know why. Like I get it. Like you deprived yourself the whole year. You've been good, the whole year. You didn't run up your credit cards to have these things. So now you have some money and you want to treat yourself. one of my big things is treat yourself with a portion. Like I always say, when you budget out, when you start to think strategically about your money, don't leave yourself out. Just don't do it motivated by, fear of missing out, FOMO.
Right.
Do it really strategically, really take care of yourself and map out that money for the rest of the year. When we come back from a break, we're going to talk about budgeting and how that might work in the context of the year. But what final thoughts would you give people about, the even expanding on that thought, not getting caught up in those spur of the moment, I need to make myself feel good type purchases?
Well, you made a good point. It's okay to treat yourself, but you can't treat yourself every payday. Yeah. You can't get this lump sum of tax money and spend half of it on the things that you felt that you missed out on, during the year. Most individuals are material driven individuals. You know what I'm saying? So it's about stuff. Really stuff that we don't even really need, but it makes us feel good to be able to go into a mall and buy something that I normally couldn't buy. So it's important that you do focus on some needs or wants, some wants that you want, but not to overdo it. Because you still have, this is February. I mean, most people get their check between February and March, and it's gone in a month. So you still have 9, 10 more months to go back to the struggle, get back to this rat race. Mm-hmm. And it's about mindset. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how high your credit score is, but to be able to maintain that, I got to have a different mindset. And it's not the consumer mindset like we have been, accustomed to being brainwashed to be. We have to be more disciplined in that area.
Definitely. I appreciate that. So with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk more about how to put this into practice in a budget.
Gotta have it.
Welcome back. Isn't that cool?
Yes. Yes. It's real cool. Yes, definitely like that.
Right? So we'll only get better with that stuff.
Of course.
That's
of course.
Cool stuff.
Of course.
Another cool thing, just because we're having fun with this, we can put our commercials in those spots.
Oh,
so
okay.
So we'll do commercials, and then that 30 seconds will be not just a break,
right?
But we'll have commercials, and then of course, as their sponsorships, other people will pay us to put their commercials in there, right? So that's perfect. Kind of the idea.
Perfect.
Lots of it's just fun to me.
Yes.
When you have the right technology, it's like, wow, this is that easy,
right?
And it is that easy. That's just cool to me. But anyway,
I'm excited.
Let's get into the budgeting, and let me start off this section.
Okay. Yes.
What the big thing for me with budgeting, nobody wants to do a budget because it just seems like two things I find with clients. Number one is they say it's restricting.
Yes.
And they don't. I mean, I moved out of my mama's house. I don't need nobody telling me what to do, even if it's me,
Right.
And then the second thing is they surprisingly, and well, not surprising to you, but people say, I don't have enough money to budget. And I'm saying, no, that's not how budgeting works.
Right. It does not.
And for me, again, it's all about well-being. It's about how you feel about what's going on and whether you're stressed. And that gets me into the scarcity thing, how we grew up.
Right.
Some of us grew up in poverty. And dude, I didn't even grow up in abject poverty. Like, I know people who didn't even have food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm not even talking about abject poverty, but the lessons we learned there were that there's not enough to go around.
Yes.
And so when you find yourself with not a lot of money, you think there's not a lot that you can do. But that's not true. And so one of the first things that I would say in terms of budgeting is, don't worry about that big word budgeting.
Right.
Just know where your money is going.
That's the key.
Know where your money is going. Just how the bills run, how often they come up, is your light bill consistent? Is it crazy in the wintertime? Is it crazy in the summertime?
Right.
Like, so that you know what the ebb and flow of your money going out is. That is going to then give you a better sense of managing your anxiety about the money that you have. So if we're talking about the whole tax thing, you're able to say, oh, well, I know how the bills are going to go throughout the year. So I'm not going to pay up so many bills. I'm going to hold back $2,000-$3,000 because I know in the winter, my bills are going to be, whereas there's $60 for my light bill, my heating, it's going to be $200. So I'm going to hold back that money so I'm not stressed during the holidays when I know I'm going to put out a few $100s on gifts as well, right? So you're looking at your budget as kind of knowing where the money is going.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah. And in our program, I mean, one of the things that we offer individuals is budgeting. And I mean, that word budgeting is I mean, to most people is a taboo. So I like to use the term spending plan. It sounds a little bit, less, aggressive, and people can have have a little bit positive, kind of output to that. But I'm going to give you a stat. 70% of all Americans don't budget. That percentage goes up when it comes to African American. We're about 75 to 80% of us don't budget. And you made a key point that most people think, well, I don't have enough money to budget. But most of us don't know where our money is really going unless we write it down, or check our, bank statements, and see what we spent our money on. I've had clients that spend $1,200 to $2,000 a month eating out for lunch, breakfast, dinner, but I don't have no money though.
Right.
So until I write it down, until I calculate what am I paying every month, but not just the regular rent, lights and water, cable, car notes, car insurance. I got to look at the miscellaneous things that I spend my money on.
Yeah, critically important.
Critically important. And that's where a lot of our money is actually going out the door, because we don't realize I'm spending $1,000 a month eating out. I don't realize I'm spending, $500 a month on liquor. If I have any other extracurricular activities, smoking, et cetera, et cetera. So, when you're doing a spending plan, you got to be honest with yourself and say, okay, this is what's coming in, and this is exactly what's going out. And almost to the penny, you need to realize and understand how much am I spending on gas. And I tell people all the time, 70% of all marriages are going through divorce because of financial stress. And I mean, this stress could do more than just on the surface. It's actually contributing to your health, um, because of the stress, that you're under. So, this budgeting spending plan is something that we need to put in place, because if I'm trying to eliminate debt, I can't really do that unless I know where to cut back, where to take this additional money that I can see that, okay, yeah, I'm spending too much money over in this area, so I need to cut back that. If it's $500 a month that you can come up with, now that's $500 that can go to some debt, uh, to make it less stressful for you. I mean, stress and debt go hand in hand, and so you can, and then not all stress comes from money, of course, but a good portion of it, if you don't have enough of it, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
but it goes back to, again, to the mindset of individuals. What is it that you're trying to complete? What are your goals? What are my visions? And I got to be able to have a plan together to get there, and I have to be disciplined in
Yeah,
order
and
to
this
be able to
and
do
this
that.
this spending plan is that's the vision to,
Right.
writing it down to get there. And you mentioned mindset. I know in your book that's really the beginning of your credit book,
Yes.
is
Yes.
this, helping people to understand the mindset that they could have, and that they should have, not just the information, but like you say,
Right.
how do you look at money. And
Yes.
that's a big thing in the work that I do too, that helping people to see the mindset. And we might as well, at this point, let's address the kind of the elephant that's in the financial room, that people are talking about, whether it's a real thing to have a wealth mindset versus a poverty mindset. And there's some authors, I don't know if you know this, we haven't talked about this before, but there's some authors and some, people on social media that are saying poverty mindset is just a racist way of saying, it's like saying ghetto or hood or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
And I disagree. I
do
use
too.
that a lot. There's a mindset that says, let me get everything right now. And we just call that a poverty mindset.
Right.
And there's a wealth mindset that says, okay, I'm going to manage what I do in order to have consistent
Yes.
joy, and potentially it increases over time. My ability increases,
Yes.
because I do have access to more money. And so I want to kind of argue that part a little bit, so that we can, give our pushback on that.
Right.
But
Right.
to your earlier point, I say budget your fun. Like, make sure that in your budget, because there's stress related, because there's like this motivation to get something and have something, make sure you put that in your budget.
Right.
See how it works with your lifestyle long term. See if it
Exactly.
is putting you on a trajectory that's a wealth opportunity, or whether it's really the thing that's holding you back, that you keep spending this money and you
Right.
keep hoping for it to do something. It's funny, people will say, I would never gamble my money, but that's what you're doing. Like you said, when you go out and buy this car just because you got your taxes and you don't really care about the rest of your bills,
Right.
that's a gamble, dude. You have less of a chance,
right,
in that sense. But what would you say about this debate about poverty mindset?
Well, I'm on your side. So, I mean, we can't argue, among each other, but we can argue.
We're together. We're
else.
together. We're
Right.
arguing against them.
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't know if people understand the power of the laws of attraction, the universal laws. And if I have a poverty mindset, if I have a negative mindset, if I have a consumer mindset only, then I'm going to attract more of that. If I have a lack mentality, it's not enough out there, then I'm going to continue to attract more of that. And people who have money, who are wealthy, rich, they have a different mindset and they look at money different. They don't, limit themselves to thinking about, the things that they can accomplish, um, the things that are achievable for them. Now, they don't believe in the, overnight success, get rich quick type of, scenarios. It takes time to build um, everything that they've accomplished. And if you think about it, that's really what separates the people who have money, wealthy, in a better position is how they think.
Hmm.
I've read several books, and they said if you take all the money in existence and give it to spread it out amongst everybody equally,
Mhm.
in probably less than 3 to 5 years, the majority of their money will be back in the top 10,
Mm.
and the 90% will still be uh, what they were before. Now,
Yeah.
it's not because they didn't have the money. It wasn't because of education. It's because of the mindset that they have when it comes to money
Yeah.
and how to keep it instead of being consumers,
Hmm.
and invest in it to bring more money. So um, I don't know what they're talking about, but if you think about individuals who are in poverty and grew up in projects and in the hood, um, most of them stay in that arena because of how they think,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and how they look at life, and I've been dealt all the bad cards, and no,
Yeah.
we were all born for greatness, and not to suffer. A lot of the suffering
And
we
not
bring
to work a
ourselves.
9 to 5 for
Oh
68
no,
years and
no,
70 years. And
right.
somebody was saying that they're trying to push the retirement age up to 86, and I'm like, okay, this is just they getting ridiculous with
it,
this.
it's
But
crazy. It's
that's
crazy.
my big thing. Live now, because even
Right,
people who get out of poverty, when you still have that poverty mindset, you don't realize how you can leverage your credit,
right,
your the money that you make for experiences, and you get caught up in that work until I'm 65.
right,
But when you retire, according to the state, when you get access to your Social Security, you see what I'm
right,
saying? Like, that's different than retirement.
right,
When you get access to your Social Security, you're making the same lifestyle that you made before. That's what you hope. You're able to maintain that lifestyle.
right.
So how do you prepare for that? But what, like you said, people who have that generational switch of that wealth mindset, they actually do better in their retirement. They create a
Yes,
lifestyle that's better, because this was the let me be disciplined phase. And
right,
now at 35, at 45, at 50, if you got it a little later, at 55, at 60, you're recognizing, oh, now I've done the hard work. Now I can enjoy what I
right,
planned on.
right.
And that's what people are talking about when they talk about retirement plans and IRAs and all these different whole life insurance, all these different
Yes,
mechanisms.
yes,
We should
yes,
have somebody on, like someone with a name like a Sharifa or something like that, somebody who
yes,
knows about insurance at some point,
yes,
to
yes.
talk about how those financial instruments just make a complete difference in
Complete difference.
switching your mindset,
Right, right,
making that happen. So
right.
let's go, let's go for another break, and when we come back, we're gonna have our final segment
Actually, let me
on
ask something, Michael, before
the
we go.
clients. But that's, yeah, sure.
I if 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 you do some research and look at the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers,
Yeah.
Back in the day, they both were at the top of the food chain. In other words, they had millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. Crazy
Well,
money.
the Vanderbilts didn't have the money mindset as the Rockefellers. Now, the Rockefellers have thousands of individuals now that don't have to work, that they still get, funds from, life insurance policies, actually from the trust that was built to make sure that this overspending was not done. On the other hand, the Vanderbilts, spent lavish amount of money on buildings, fashion, cars, material things, and you don't even hear about the Vanderbilts as a family anymore because of their spending mindset was
Wow.
not like the Rockefellers.
Wow.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Because the mindset makes the difference.
It does.
Yeah,
it really
even
does.
in the history you create. I've got a project called Generational Law of Legacy that I'm going to get out into the forefront, which talks exactly about what you're describing. This idea of what's the mindset, but then also how do you make that practical, and how have others done the research? Speaking of the research, how have others made that practical so that you see generations of wealth as opposed to just, those people who are rich for a time.
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. We'll be back in 30. Thank you guys for tuning in and sticking with us. Back in 30.
We appreciate it.
So for our final segment, let's talk about this idea of the ideal client. And I thought this would be a good topic because a lot of people, I think, I'm suspicious. I suspect that a lot of people do not get help because they don't want to be embarrassed. And I don't think it's embarrassed just because of pride. I think it's they don't want to admit that they don't know what an adult should know. And speaking of that, I mean, that's literally why I created the Facebook page, my financial literacy Facebook page, because I wanted people to get more comfortable that you don't know it, that you weren't taught this, and that's okay. So I want to talk for a few minutes on how to become the ideal client. And I'll start us off with the phrase, just be open to learning. Like that's to begin with. It's okay that you don't know, but once you know, then it's like my business motto: as you succeed, we succeed.
Right.
Because all I could do is succeed when I have partners, collaborators, friends, clients who are succeeding. And so that's my number one. What would be your number one, Ali?
I would probably say, and I've been doing this a long time. I've dealt with thousands and thousands of clients. But still very important is the mindset. And we have to understand that financial literacy and credit awareness is not taught on any educational level, the way it should be anyway. And so we don't get this basic information in middle school, high school, colleges. So, one of the first things that we need to understand is we're not alone. I mean, there's millions and millions of individuals who were never taught about money and how it works. Um, and even with an alcoholic or a person that's on drugs, the first thing they must admit is, I have a problem. And it doesn't matter what level you on, what kind of degree you have, bachelor, masters, doctors. I mean, I've had them all come through my program. So it's not about the amount of money that they're making. Um, it's about the amount of money that they're able to save, invest, um, back into their, actually to themselves. So,
Mhm.
an ideal client is a person who is open to learn. We have a lot of people that they think they know it all, but they're in a situation that they're in, but they don't feel that they have a problem.
Mm.
A lot of individuals have a spending problem. We shop when we happy, we shop when we sad, we shop when we don't feel good, we shop when we feel good. And so that mindset is going to be involved with everybody on every level. Now, ideal client for us is a person who is open to learn, to allow an individual who has experience, knowledge, wisdom, and expertise in a certain field that they don't. Um, and are open for positive criticism when it comes to that part of it.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot of us, based on ego and pride, we don't want, somebody telling us, about our business and we spending too much and your credit bad and da da da. You know,
Mm.
we don't want people to kind of point that out. But the ones who are open to that and are able to receive that in a positive manner and are willing to take the directions, um, and the goal setting and the plan that is
Mhm.
put before you, um, and don't start and then midway you want to stop and quit because it's getting a little bit difficult, getting a little harder.
Mm.
Um, and the other piece of it is being disciplined. Even when you set up spending plans for them, when you set up ways of eliminating your debt faster, when you look at ways of increasing the credit scores, um, you're going to have to be disciplined in order to stay the course. You know,
Yeah.
the mindset right now for a lot of individuals is, I want everything right now. I don't want to wait for it. I don't want to plan for it. I don't want to set goals for it. I want it right now. And then the right now mindset individuals, those are the ones that end up paying higher interest rates because they don't want to put the work in, or follow the plan that is set for them to increase their credit score. So when I go to a car dealership with a 720, I can get single digits in
Exactly.
finance charges, 3, 4, 5%. Then a person that goes in with a 600 credit score now have an 18, 19% um, interest rate. So now I'm paying a whole lot more in finance charges. I could have bought 2, 3 cars when I finished paying for this one. But look at all the money that you're losing,
Yeah.
in that time frame. So a person that's going to be disciplined, a person that's going to be open for positive criticism, and it's going to take the plan that you set before you before then, because you are the expert in this field that I'm clueless about. And I'm going to be able to reach out to you when I feel that this is getting a little challenging for me, to ask
Yeah.
for motivation and inspiration. And a lot of us don't do that either. We just quit, what I'm saying, without
Yeah.
coming and saying, okay, because of this and this is too hard for me. Well, I mean, let's readjust. Let's reprogram some things, because we don't want you to start the process and then not finish it. But those who have finished, it changed their lives. I
Yeah.
mean, like forever. You know what I'm saying? And now they can speak this into their children. and their grandchildren, and of how they did what they did, and how they maintained from this learning this, and being disciplined. Um,
Yeah. And I really like that idea of the point you made about being willing and knowing that you have the support. And
right,
that's
right,
really the thing. Being able to reach out to people is a part of the process. Like
yes,
when you,
yes,
that's how you connect the people in your that are in your space. That we were told, like you said, we were told as a kid, don't be sharing my business and don't be going
right,
up there telling my business. And we took that to heart. I ain't sharing
yes,
my business. And I'm not. And then employers have taken that too. Don't share your salary to other people.
right,
Well,
right,
that's so they can scam all of us.
yeah,
But recognize, and I talk a lot in my work about discernment. And
yes,
discernment, people don't know that word necessarily, but discernment is when you figure out who's with you and who's not with you, who's
right,
got your back and who's just smiling in your face, who might stab you in the back and who might help you get back up,
right,
who might help you up and then want to talk about you and throw it in your face, or who
yes,
would help you up and still be helping you up.
right,
They're consistent in their love and care for you. Knowing the difference in those people. And I don't want to toot my own horn, because I may not be the person for you. You may
oh, you're
not
right,
mesh with me. I may
you're right,
not be the type of person that with your personality may not mesh,
right,
but I can tell you how awesome I am, and I can get a couple of people lined up to tell you how awesome I am.
right, right,
But
exactly,
that's not even the most important thing. It really goes back to what you were saying, the discipline that is involved in discernment, where you're recognizing who's for you, but you're also submitting to that support.
right,
So that pride doesn't get in the way of you saying, you know what, I messed up this month. You know what, bro, I've been messing up for 2 months.
right, right,
And I'm just gonna let you
exactly,
know, next month I'm about to mess up again because my birthday coming up. You understand? Like,
right,
none of that disqualifies you. None of that
no,
means
no,
stop.
right,
That just means we got to reset,
yeah,
because we know. And what I tell people, back to what we were talking about before, I say, if you know your birthday's coming up, let's not make it a surprise every year
right,
that
plan
that you're
for it,
going that you're going to drop an extra $800 that you don't have.
right,
No, let's plan so
plan
that you
for it,
do have the $800,
right, right,
right?
yeah, exactly,
Or more realistically, let's cut it to 5. Can we do it for
right,
5? Like, can we not do the whole 8? Because
right,
I mean, you ain't there, partner. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
thank you,
You
thank you,
like the bottle with the sparkles out of it. Nah, that
right,
ain't you right now, man. You
no,
the
no,
you the
no,
one that you brought from home that you snuck in.
right,
Let's do that. Let's do that for you. Only got to do it for like one birthday or 2 birthdays,
right,
and
right,
now you done saved up to 800. You got the bottle with the sparklies
right,
on it. You
you can do
know,
that then, exactly,
right? and
exactly,
and then I think that's really the thing. Like, recognize where people are supporting you, and then lean on them for that support, even in the moments where, like you said, you're not doing your best, you're not making
right,
the best choices. But these people like Ali, for the credit piece, me for the kind of switching your mindset, getting your life in order part, that we're here to support you even when you're not making the best choices. We can talk that through
right,
and help support you in making the better choices.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to say something to you, which they might not realize, but I count on you, and your program a lot myself. And we can't be that we feel that I'm an expert on this area, but we're not an expert in every area. So there's
Exactly.
somebody that's gonna know more than we know, and we'd be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be able to rely on others
That's a
uh,
good point.
for our support as well.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. Because we don't have to do this by ourselves,
No.
contrary to what we grew up thinking,
Right.
that we're all in competition and it's some kind of grand competition where you can't ever work with anybody else or get a team.
Exactly.
I actually came up with this today that I'll share. You're going to start off with hard work, and then you're going to graduate if you're getting good people around you that are giving you good advice, and even if you're getting it from good books and motivational videos, you're going to switch from hard work into smart work.
Yes.
But the level beyond smart work is teamwork.
Yes.
When you can cast out a vision for what you want to happen, and you got people on your team that will help you make it happen.
Right.
That's actually that next level, even beyond smart work, working smarter. So yeah, you're exactly right.
I agree.
You don't got to do this by yourself.
No.
And you find people who can help. And we all, like my motto, as you succeed, we succeed. If imagine us, we're going to start this between the two of us. We're going to bring in, our spouses and significant others. That's 4 Black people.
Right.
We're going to get other people that listen to what we're doing. They're going to get on this train. And the beauty of that is all of those rising tides are going to lift all of our ships.
Yes.
And that's the thing that we got to really be, I'm excited about, but also that's where we really need to be taking this financial literacy kind of opportunity, is to get our tides rising,
right,
and lift our boats
together.
So,
together.
Exactly. Yes. Not alone.
Not alone.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, any final thoughts as we end our? We did it. I think we did a good job.
I think we did too.
I mean, a little bit
for the
technical.
first one. Yeah. I mean, I think we did actually an excellent job. And I think the more people, get to, see it and be a part of it, they're going to see some value in it for them as well. I love the concept. I mean, I love the platform. And, I'm excited to be a part of it. As long as you want to be a part of it, I'm a part of it for sure.
Yeah. That's we got 2 more minutes before we're signing off, but there's a couple of comments. Sharifa Leonard is really enjoying the show, so just so you know that.
Okay.
She said her motto is smarter, not harder. That's a good one.
Yes.
And somebody asked me to repeat that last part. I think they're talking about you're going to start off working hard, and then you're going to graduate to working smarter. Sharifa's motto, smarter, not harder. And then you're going to graduate to teamwork. And that's what you're really looking forward to. That discernment, making sure you have good people on your team,
right,
and you'll be able to cast your vision, and people will help you to make it happen. And that's the big piece. Hard work, then smart work, and then teamwork. And that's what we're talking about doing here. I appreciate you, brother, for jumping on with me. Let's make it happen. We got lots of work to do, but this was pretty fun. It's pretty fun, right? I thought it was pretty fun. And no stress.
No stress. Just shooting from the hip.
No overthinking and none of that. So we'll come back next week, if God willing, is as they say. But that's our plan, and we'll engage every week in supporting people to make this happen and building a community where we can do some cool things and get some things done. Okay.
Sounds good.
Signing off, bro.
Signing off. Peace.
Bye.